We just had NBA Media Day. That means NBA season is here, and some of the top storylines came from it are the ones I've already told you. Nikola Jokic is too fat to repeat. Ja Morant needed a mentor. Maybe he got one. The Golden State Warriors remain small-minded, and Bronny is not okay. Therefore, he's not going to be able to play next year just that easily. Plus, I got some fun videos, and you have to see the last one at the end. Pebbles, a.k.a. Angry Birds. You got to check that one out. What's up, everyone? Another edition of Tricky Guy Sports. It's your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B. We've got a lot to get into. Angry Birds, funny videos. I got a bunch of NBA stuff, and I'll kick things off real quickly. Baseball stuff, just a quick mention.
Baseball stuff!
Baseball stuff!
Wild card sweeps all yesterday. Congratulations to Texas over Tampa Bay, Minnesota over Toronto, the Diamondbacks over Milwaukee, and then Philadelphia over the Marlins there. I'm really not interested, unfortunately, until the Texas-Houston series hopefully happens. Rangers-Houston, that'll be an interesting thing for me as a Texas boy to watch. And, you know, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Milwaukee, and the Marlins, you know, congratulations to a fun season, and it's already over. Wild card's rough, but you guys lost. No crying about it.
Are you crying?
There's no crying.
There's no crying? There's no crying in baseball!
And all that said and all, but I want to get right into the business here. It was NBA Media Day these last couple days, and the NBA season is officially upon us. Everyone's back. They're practicing. Preseason starts here soon. The NBA, baby. This is me. This is my wheelhouse. This is what I love, and I'm going to really rub it in today because it's kind of a thing. And look, I get it. I'm still getting started. I'm still new. So if a podcaster screams in the woods, does anyone hear it? I don't know. But the fact is, you know, if you followed me at all, or if you go back and look, I really do. This is one sport you're going to have to give me, and you're going to have to give me some leeway and some credit. I don't want to sit here and just keep listing my resume, but I played basketball my whole life. Believe it or not, I did play college ball. I know you look at me and go, no, you didn't.
Because I'm white. Because he's white. Because he is white. Look at him, man. What you want?
Yes, I did, and I was actually quite good, and I was still house your ass, average Joe Sixpack out there. I dare you to find me on a court. I will give you the business. I've, you know, was an award-winning radio host, a bunch of stuff. I know basketball to the end. So if you followed me from the beginning, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because, once again, I was right to the point of boredom to where Media Day made it even more obvious to me. So if you've been following it all, as I talked NBA basketball, there's a lot of things I discussed. A few things I used to discuss, and I'll show again, was that Denver is going to have a big, fat problem repeating, and the joke is on them and their offseason. I talked about that. I mean, ad nauseum, talked about Ja Morant needed a mentor. The Warriors continue to remain small-minded and small ball. And the latest one, Bronny and Bron, were just probably not going to happen this next season, and that really affects LeBron James. So lo and behold, when the NBA Media Day dust settled, some of the big storylines were that Denver's going to have a hard time repeating. Ja Morant might have his mentor. The Warriors remain to say they're small-minded, and Bronny and Bron is not going to maybe happen.
I done told you.
Look, I'm going to go ahead and rub it in a little bit. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. Please know NBA basketball, you're going to have a hard time, you know, not listening to me on this. I am right to the point of boredom a lot of times when it comes to this. So I will kick each one of these as I go along here, and we're going to have a little fun. All right? Good. Got it? Here we go. Like I said, I used to do a thing called called shots, and I'm going to bring it back a bunch today. So let's start off with, you know, I'll get into it again, just rubbing in and telling you and showing you why, again, these media headlines involving LeBron, Golden State, Ja Morant, and Denver are things that I've been telling you for a while and why they're still important. So called shots.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
He's calling his shot.
A lot of build up today. I just appreciate you riding along here with us. So the first thing, and this is one that I really don't want to, you know, I'm not going to really play with the Sounders too much more anymore here on this one. The LeBron James, Bronny James situation, a latest update and a huge, massive update was kind of just slipped by LeBron on Media Day that his son, his eldest Bronny, and after his cardiac arrest and everything else, needed and had surgery. after his cardiac arrest. I mean, that was like, I'm sorry, what? He just slipped it like, oh, yeah, so, da-da-da. It was a huge deal. It continues to remain a huge deal because of all the ramifications, not just to LeBron James' son, a possible first-round draft pick, but to LeBron, to the Lakers, and to everyone else involved. The fact that they finally just kind of just just threw it out there that LeBron James' kid, Bronny, had surgery after his cardiac arrest. And yes, he's doing better. And yes, he's back at USC. That has, again, these ramifications are not small. This is huge because LeBron has been open in saying the only reason he wants to stick around is to play with Bronny. His contract comes up next year, which means that he was going to follow Bronny because Bronny, if everything was supposed to work out the way it was supposed to be a one and done. He was going to go spend his year as USC, get his NIL money, have some fun, then go to the pros next year. And LeBron, after being open now with the free agency contract, was going to be able to follow whoever drafted Bronny in that first round. There was even 6 teams that all had multiple first-round picks, which made it even easier for a team to quote-unquote take a risk on this kid, considering that you come with LeBron James. Who wouldn't want to take that opportunity to have LeBron for the next couple of years, especially teams like New York, San Antonio, Boston Celtics, also throw in Atlanta, New Orleans, and Houston. There were so many opportunities and so many things that could have happened. But when he went down, when they told me a couple months ago that Bronny just collapsed from cardiac arrest, and it was almost like it was fascinating to me how much everyone, including the media, just kind of tried to glaze over this. And I'm sitting here just flabbergasted. I'm going like, what am I missing? The son of LeBron James, the guy that LeBron is going to follow and might retire if he's not around, had a cardiac arrest and just passed out and spent 3 days in the hospital, and everyone just kind of went on like nothing really was going on here, and I was trying to understand why, and I have a few reasons why. But again, the latest update was given to us during Media Day, first day for the Lakers players do their interviews. LeBron James was asked about it, and again, casually slipped that he had surgery on his heart and the congenital heart defect, whatever he has, which we still don't know 100% and is still being kind of a little bit vague. But here we go. LeBron on Media Day was discussing his son's update. Bronny had surgery, but he's quote-unquote doing okay.
The incident with your son. How is he doing, and how has the family managed to get through this crisis?
Bronny is doing extremely well. He has began his rehab process to get back on the floor this season with his teammates in USC, and the successful surgery that he had, but he's on the up and up. It's definitely a whirlwind and a lot of emotions for our family this summer. But the best thing we have is each other, and we stuck behind each other. And gave Bronny strength throughout the whole process. And we're happy to see where he is today. And we look forward to seeing, what his future still has in store for him.
All right. So, I mean, once again, LeBron is always great with the media and great with his answers. But the highlight you needed to hear from that was that he did have surgery. This has been they've been so quiet and vague. And I will just play the clip now again. This was a while ago when I was trying to follow this and I was trying to explain to people just how serious of a deal this was. There were so many cutbacks and feedbacks of DeMar Hamlin and Sharif O'Neal, Shaq's kid, and others coming back. And I just tried to calmly explain it's just not that simple. And especially considering the fact that they have been so vague and been so quiet lets me know that it was not a DeMar Hamlin situation of just the random shot to the chest. So without further ado, this is the first one I'm bringing up called Shot. I told you guys this a while ago. Please go to my TikTok in case you ever want to check any of these out. Tricky Guy Sports yourself and find them out. But I tried to tell you this was a huge, humongous, holy crap deal. Rare occurrence where apparently when your heart is in contraction and you take very strong blunt force trauma to the chest, somehow if both are done at the exact same time in just the wrong moment, it can cause cardiac arrest. That is not what happened with Bronny. What happened with Bronny is not what happened to his teammate, apparently, who said, I was very similar to Damar Hamlin, his own quote, or Damar Hamlin, the Bill Safety himself. What happened with Bronny is more like the Hank Gathers, Reggie Lewis's, I'm sorry. And they can say it can be treated and everything else, but the dude was just working out and just passed out. There was no blunt force trauma to the chest. There was no sort of signs that it was one of those rare fluke things. And even Hamlin and Ugochukwu have both, they've come back to play technically. Hamlin, I don't think, has even made the field yet. He's been kind of more on the fringe. And again, Ugochukwu was only able to play limited minutes. So even with the blunt force trauma cardiac arrest, it was not led to like they just came back and were able to go full bore here. With Bronny's situation, the fact that he passed out, a la the ones that you don't want to bring up, the Lynn Biases, Hank Gathers, Reggie Lewis's, Conrad McRae's, Robert Traylor, those guys. It's not this just, I mean, I don't know if they're just trying to present a good face here with the James family. I don't know if they're just trying to be overly cautiously optimistic, or maybe they know more than they're letting on, them and the USC basketball program. But if that's the case, I'm going to ask one more time, then why aren't you just saying, look, this is what he had exactly. This is the treatment we're doing exactly. This is the timeline that we already have planned out. There's no worries. He's going to be able to play his full year as a freshman at USC. I can't wait till he's done so he can be a one-and-done player and then be drafted in the NBA, and I'm going to follow him wherever he goes. And that is going to happen. So, there's a... Yeah, there you go. Go to my TikTok, Tricky Guy Sports. And as I'm trying to tell you, now they just try to casually slip that he's having he had to have surgery on that heart. I mean, this is not, I'm sorry, stop it. This is not, the answers I kind of knew that were going to come are starting to come out now to the media. So, I mean, I really don't want to rub this in. But the fact that they were being so quiet, like I said, why didn't they just tell you, hey, look, it's no big deal. It's like a Hamlin. It's like an Ugochukwu. It was a weird thing. But it's not really like a congenital heart defect failure kind of thing. It's not that serious. It's not a Hank Gathers. It's not a Reggie Lewis. He's going to be just fine. Here's the game plan. Here's what we're doing. Instead, they tried to be quiet about the treatment. They tried to be quiet about what happened. Now, in a media day, he just tries to quickly throw underneath. LeBron does. Oh, yeah, he had surgery on it. But he's going to come back to USC, and he's going to be great, and everything's going to be awesome. No, it's just not. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm telling you, there's no proof. There's no evidence. There's nobody from behind him or in front of him that I know of that has been able to just not just have an issue where they collapse, but then have open heart surgery and just come back a few months later like absolutely nothing happened. Even his teammate, yes, I know people are going to scream. He's got his own teammate, USC. It's the second time in 15 months this has happened. Ugochukwu did not just come back and go 30-something minutes a game. He was on very limited minutes restriction and was not able to go the way that he was before. Now, you can say it might have been the back injury and other stuff. The fact is there is a lot of complications and a lot of concern when it comes to playing someone who just collapsed. And I just have to keep saying that because it wasn't anything other than he had a cardiac arrest. A 19-year-old, completely athletic, completely healthy kid, just boom, damn, just fell to the ground, and the next thing you know, after a few days and after diagnosing and getting treatment, he had to have surgery. He is not just popping back onto the Trojans roster and playing 30 minutes. Is there a possibility? Sure. And if I had wheels, I'd be a wagon. There's possibilities for a lot. I could win the lottery tomorrow. But, I mean, if we're looking at all the evidence, and also I'm going to throw on top the fact that they are doing their best to try to keep it quiet and try to keep it underneath and not try to really, expose and get into the ramifications. What does this mean for LeBron? What does this mean for the Lakers? What does this mean for the NBA? What does this mean for Bronny himself? What does this mean for USC basketball? What does this mean for the NBA draft? There are so many stories that are probably going to eventually leak out, but I am one of the few that's willing to tackle it now. A, because it's interesting to me. I mean, for one, it's LeBron frickin' James. If this was Michael Jordan and his son in the 90s, I don't think I would be any less wrong or inconsistent in really focusing on this story because it's got that same level of ramification. And not only that, he plays for the Los Angeles Lakers, the biggest franchise besides like the Yankees. I mean, it's a short list of teams that get more television, more attention, more eyeballs, and everything else media coverage than the LA Lakers. The king of the LA Lakers is either going to retire next year or is probably not going to be on your team based on everything that I have seen and based on now, especially the consideration that Bronny is not okay. So why are we not tackling the story more as a media media, I'll give you a few reasons. So let me just break this down. First of all, the first problem with talking about Bronny and everything it means for LeBron going forward and the LA Lakers and everyone else is you got to bring up the vaccine. I keep forgetting because I was really just more focused on the court stuff. But every time I put a video up about it, everyone starts an argument about this the vaccine and what does it mean and is that what caused the heart attack? Here's why I don't discuss it. It's not that I'm afraid of it. I really don't. I'll talk to you about anything. But to me, it's irrelevant. It's just irrelevant. One, I'm not a doctor. Two, you guys politicize the hell out of this thing for whatever reason. And three, it's irrelevant to the point that I'm trying to make. Much like the Aaron Rodgers Achilles injury. You know, when Aaron Rodgers went down with that Achilles injury, there was a lot of people doing, all sorts of different discussions about, his calf injury, the AstroTurf versus grass, what caused it, what's the problem, what can we do to solve it. All that's another discussion for another day. For me, the focus was more on the New York Jets really had a chance this year and now look like, and it has been shown that they're in holy crap trouble. The LeBron James, Bronny, cardiac arrest situation is really more to me. I don't care if the vax caused it. I'm not sure if it did. And I don't really know if I ever really need to know or if we're ever going to know. I mean, the fact is it's going to be a big mystery for a long time. The more important thing to me is what does it mean for him going forward and the Lakers going forward? And, how or what caused it? The kid had a cardiac arrest and now had surgery. So in the end, that's what I'm going to focus on. The vaccine, whether it caused it or not, I'm sure, maybe, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. A lot of things, not a doctor. So I don't really care about that. I care more about what does it mean for the James family and for the NBA. Two, the other reason we really don't like talking about Bronny and what it means going forward is because the media loves LeBron. And I don't even know who started the bullshit narrative, and I'm going to say it again, the bullshit narrative that LeBron James has a hard time with the media. Are you guys nuts? Are you out of your freaking mind? I have never really, it's been a long time. I mean, in any athlete, in any sport that I've seen someone consistently get coddled to the level of LeBron James. Please miss me. You can say LeBron is the GOAT. You can make your statistical arguments. You can say, he's a great guy. He's a great father. He does a lot for charity. You could say a lot of wonderful things about LeBron James. What you cannot tell me is that, oh man, LeBron has had the hardest media scrutiny. Or what? I don't want to get passionate about it. It's just, you're full of it. You are absolutely full of it. And this is another example of how y'all are full of it on this one. The only guy I can even think of. And I mean, give me the list. I want you guys to comment below. If you think that I'm being, wrong or biased about this, you tell me the media site, maybe Fox News. And I'm not talking about Fox. I'm talking about sports. Sports media members or channels that went at LeBron James who have ever gone heavy on LeBron James and have done anything besides kiss his ass.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
I dare you to give me a decent comment. Lebitard? That's it. I mean, you could throw in Lebitard, and he even openly admitted, I'm a Miami guy. He left Miami. That left a little thorn in my side, and I've always kind of come after him. I can name like one guy. I cannot even do a hand of enough media members. I go, man, they really, seem unfair towards LeBron James. Anything else, I've always seen people kiss his ass. I mean, the guy will come up 100 times with a book on the front page, can't quote The Godfather. There's been a million times where you could have gotcha and really had fun with him. Y'all never did. Serious topics like him leaving all these different teams, y'all never did. Serious topics like him involved in the finals and what has he done or not done in finals record is a point of discussion, but usually it is overrun by people defending him and going into all sorts of stuff. His political opinions, which can be very divisive. Almost every time the media has backed him 1,000%. So that's another reason it's tough. Here's the big one. And this is the real reason I think a lot of people don't want to discuss Bronny James's cardiac arrest and surgery. What does it mean? Because it's not like another injury and the kid could possibly die. It's at least, you have to at least start considering, as insensitive as it sounds, that it's a possibility this kid could die on the court. And that is not fun for anyone to talk about. That is not fun for anyone to consider, but I'm going to do it because somebody needs to do it. The fact is, Bronny had cardiac arrest, collapsed in the way of the names that you do not want to name. The Gathers, the Lewises, there are story after story. It is not a short list of people in this sport specifically that have collapsed and had heart conditions and have died from it. If this was any other injury, this is a reason why I think the media is trying to just stay away from this, because any other injury, we would speculate. I mean, this is just the truth. I mean, the honesty of it is that if this was a knee injury, if this was an Achilles injury, if this was some sort of a concussion even, which can, have all sorts of ramifications going forward, but usually not death. But I mean, any other major injury to a major star that had major impact, we would go out of our way. Klay Thompson with his Achilles. I can go down the list. If it was just a knee, Achilles, or anything else, we would speculate worst case scenario, because that's the responsible part of journalism. And that's part of the thing you got to do. You have to actually go, well, okay, he could come back to USC. He could maybe overcome the odds and also, be still a one and done and still join his dad next year. I guess there's a statistical possibility, but there's also then you have to consider with every yin, there's a yang. You have to consider the other possibility that he could join the unfortunate list, which again is not short of basketball players with heart conditions who are no longer alive because of what happened. Again, Gathers, Lewis, there's kids like McCray you never heard of, a Rumpf kid. Lynn Bias was cocaine, but it was still, the cardiac condition that caused his death. And there's Robert Traylor, Fab Melo, there's guys you haven't heard of. There are so many basketball players that have died from their cardiac issues. There are scientific reasons I don't want to get into because that's a whole nother can of worms I don't want to open up. But the fact is, with any other injury, we would go here. And nobody wants to go there because it's not only just, again, LeBron. We love LeBron. Media loves LeBron. Don't want to talk about that, especially his kid. But also because who wants to bring up the fact, unlike any other injury, when we say like, oh, man, I don't know if Klay Thompson could ever come back to being himself. Or, man, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to come back as quickly as he thinks. Boy, Nick Chubb's knee bent backwards. I wonder if he'll ever be able to plant on it again. We will openly speculate about a lot of injuries and the worst case scenarios, but nobody wants to do it here. And it's very obvious why. Because the worst case scenario is the worst case scenario on the planet. The kid could die. Somebody's got to bring it up. And it's got to be a consideration, which then leads me to another reason a lot of people don't want to talk about this. And a lot of teams, I don't care what they say. I do not give a damn what anybody tells you publicly, whether it's USC, whether it's the NBA, or anybody else with a microphone in front of them. Smart people know a couple things. Revisionist history is always stronger than the original, and you would never survive the backlash if the worst case scenario happened to Bronny James. Let's just say I'm not a doctor and everything else, but there is at least a small possibility. Unlike any other person that you could either draft or play this next year at USC besides Uwachukwu, that he could have a cardiac arrest, collapse, and die on the court. I mean, you could tell me what you want. You could say publicly, and it's a great story that everybody's going to say, oh, he can overcome the odds, and won't that be awesome? You are lying your ass off if you're telling me behind closed doors this is not the number one thing that these coaches, general managers, and everyone else is bringing up. They can say it's not a big deal, or they can say we're trusting the doctor's opinion. Nobody on earth wants to be the one that's responsible for LeBron James's son. Not just any kid having a cardiac arrest and then having the worst case scenario happen after they've already had it happen once, and there's been medical and at least concerns and other things around it surrounding the idea that, hey, there's still a risk involved. Nobody would want any kid to die on their watch. If it's LeBron James's kid, you never survive. And everyone now that's rooting for it is going to completely 180. And yes, you will. And don't even try to give me anything otherwise. You will flip around, and suddenly everyone that's now rooting or being mad at me for saying this will turn around if something happens to Bronny and go, what happened? Why didn't USC be more responsible? Why would the NBA draft a guy they knew had a cardiac condition? Why was nobody more responsible about this, that, the other thing? We will go back in hindsight 2020 and nitpick every little thing that we see and everything that was done, and somebody will end up being, unfortunately, the finger will be pointed. Someone will catch more blame than they probably should. Nobody wants to touch this with a 10-foot pole. The only thing keeping Bronny's NBA hopes and chances alive is that if he's able to show a comeback, is that he's LeBron's child. Ask the Baylor kid, the Pacheco or whatever. They gave him like a inaugurals. Anyone remember this? There was a kid in Baylor a few years back that had one of these heart issues and was able to, it looked like he was doing at least okay. They gave him a ceremonial draft just to at least give him his opportunity because he was supposed to go to the NBA. He never played in the NBA. The only thing that's giving Bronny the chance is that he's LeBron's kid, and not just that he's LeBron's kid, is that LeBron comes in tow with him via free agency is the only real reason I can even say there is a statistical chance that at some point he'll be in the NBA. But nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to tell you the truth on this. They are lying their ass off.
Oh, you lied to me. You lied to me.
Oh, we're really rooting for Bronny, and we would love to take him. He'd be a great opportunity for us in USC. Oh, we welcome him back with open arms, and we're really hopeful in the behind-the-scenes, closed-doors conversations that they're having where you're not around. I will bet a kidney that there's a lot of like, dude, what happens? What happens if the worst happens? Someone's going to bring it up, and someone's going to have reservations, whether it's both at USC or in the NBA about it. So I'll move on from this topic again, but just to review, LeBron said in the latest media day, tried to kind of, just slip it underneath that Bronny had surgery on his cardiac arrest. Yes, they are saying at USC they expect him back at some point. Yes, LeBron is saying openly that we expect him back soon. And again, I just don't think I want to get into the vax argument because it's irrelevant. The fact is, this is more about what does it mean going forward. I know it's LeBron's kid. I know everybody loves LeBron James, and nobody wants to discuss the possibility of the worst case scenario like we would with other injuries like Achilles or knees or anything else where we openly just, had the conversation of like, gee, can this person come back, or what's the worst case scenario? Nobody wants to bring up the worst case scenario here because the worst case scenario is that he collapses again and he possibly passes away. And then after all that's said and done, who's going to catch that blame? Who's going to be the one responsible? Who's going to be the ones that end up never surviving the backlash of why did you let this kid back on the court? Whether they're telling you about it, they're talking about it. So put all that together, not to mention the other part of this in LeBron's future is that it's really the only reason he's sticking around to play in the NBA. LeBron has openly said as much. He said, look, I want to play with my kid. That's it. And why not? Because the fact is, most of y'all have already given him the GOAT status anyways. That's anybody, 20 or younger. I mean, it doesn't matter the 4 rings and all the arguments. You have enough statistical arguments in your own head to make that case. I don't think you do. I think you're full of it. But still, I mean, to a lot of people, and himself included, he's already the greatest of all time. He has no reason to stick around other than what's one of the coolest reasons ever is to play with his child. But that still is not a very, dude, it's here. It's here, and I tried to tell you, and I'm sorry that I'm the one bringing it up, and I'm sorry I'm the one even putting out in the universe that there's a possibility because of the surgery that it reminds me of the bad cases, the worst ones we could think of, and you have to at least consider it if you're going to be really, truthful about this in this whole conversation. I don't see him coming back ever into a full return. I don't see NBA teams really being willing to do this, and I think it's going to affect LeBron's future. He might retire early now because of the whole situation. It sucks. It's sad, but it's the truth. And the fact that they are still trying to kind of, he had surgery, but it's no big deal. He had surgery on his heart after a cardiac arrest. All right, I'm done. I don't want to talk about that anymore because it's depressing, it's sad, but I did tell you so. What's the one I wanted to, let's do Denver. Let me get into this one. This is another story I wanted to bring up. The Denver Nuggets, obviously NBA champions last year. And from the beginning, another called shot for me. I tried to tell you guys that Nikola Jokic is a lot of things. He had an unbelievable year, him and Jamal Murray. But if he's going to repeat, it's going to be tough because the fact is this guy is coming in this last offseason not giving 2 Fs, and he's going to be out of shape.
I want my baby back, baby back,
He's
baby
fat.
back, baby back, baby back, ribs.
If they want their championship back, he was going to have to now deal with the big fat bullseye of everyone now. No longer is Denver the sleeper team. No longer is Denver the one that, it's cute that they got the first overall seed in the West, but they'll fall to, the Lakers or Memphis or somebody else, and then, maybe even Golden State or one of the ones that we're used to. All of that's gone. Now the bullseye is right on his big fat back. And I said, as soon as the offseason ended and I started watching and listening to this guy talk about how the, NBA is just a job and he doesn't even want to be at the parade and everything else, then I saw him dancing at the party and I was like, this dude ain't ready. This dude is not ready. So let me go ahead and put this one up here for you. This was another one I tried to tell you guys. Nikola Jokic, right after the offseason, I saw him dancing. I was like, this dude ain't ready to repeat. This dude ain't ready to fit into his pants from last summer.
Parade. Now we have parade in Serbia. Do sit-ups, kiss my Serbian ass. I am champion. I'm Nikola Jokic. Do not give damn about back-to-back. I've said before, job is job. I don't give crap about job. I want to dance very awkwardly on table. Jokic like dance on table. Jokic like beer. Jokic, just be careful. Just be careful is all I'm saying. I don't know if he understands or if you understand quite what it's going to take to repeat the difference between being the sleeper and now being the one out in front. And when this guy's doing this type of stuff in the offseason, I don't think he's doing P90X. I don't think he do things to worry. I play into shape. I don't give crap. I go ride horse. I drink beer on horse. I eat donut on horse. I drink donut, beer on horse, and eat pizza. You kiss my ass. I do what I want. Nikola Jokic, I'm MVP champion. So obviously having a little fun. Again, go to my TikTok. I was having a little fun with Nikola and all that. But I'm right again.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
The latest media day thing, they flat out asked him, did you even touch a basketball in the offseason, along with some other stuff here? And Nikola, I love his honesty. I love his honesty. Nikola doesn't give two Fs about any of this stuff. He will tell you what's on his mind. He'll tell you how he's feeling. So they asked him, hey, champion MVP, did you take the offseason serious this last offseason? No, I don't give two shit.
No, a couple times, not much.
No, he didn't.
Coming back home, is this the most fun you've had for a summer?
This?
Championship. Was this past summer the most fun you've had since you've been in the NBA?
No, I think it's actually opposite.
Wait, why?
Because we played 2.5 extra months and recovery and everything, so it was good.
Is this real life?
I don't. I have to spend time and play playoffs. It eat into my time to be with horse and with wife and in Serbia where I want to be. Instead, I have to play in the stupid-ass playoffs. I don't give crap about playoffs. I don't give crap. I mean, I'm having, again, a little fun with it, but give me a break. This dude is not, he's not that, this is even, so that was from the latest media day. And I want to read you now what Coach Malone said, because there's a lot of stories and a lot of conversation about, obviously, can Denver repeat, which is one of the hardest things to do in any sport is to repeat. It's one thing to come up and catch people. It's another when people have the bullseye on you to be able to get it done. So after hearing that, did you pick up a basketball? No. Not really, once or twice. And then even Murray going, dude, he didn't pick up a damn thing. And then asking him, how was the offseason for you? Did you enjoy it? Well, I would have, but I had less time because of damn playoffs take too long. I go whole way. It eat into offseason. Not enough off time to drink beer and ride horse. So, all that being said, asked about repeating, they asked the coach, Coach Malone, and he said, and I quote, more than anything, he thinks the biggest adjustment is the approach and attitude as defending champion, saying that John Wooden, the famous UCLA legendary coach, once had a great quote that to repeat, you have to have character. We have talent, but we are going to be thinking about last season. I don't know, because in my eyes, last season is over. So one more time, to repeat, you have to have character. He has character. Nikola is a character. Nikola is an amazing player, and so is Jamal Murray. Do not get me wrong. What they did in the NBA Finals is truly one of the greatest runs ever in NBA history. I will repeat some facts that you need to know, and these are ones that you really should understand. For one, the only team to have a better 20-game playoff record, or to get the 16 wins at a easier and a more efficient standard, was the Golden State Warriors of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant. That's the only one. They also, in the NBA Finals just last year, as Nikola Jokic, the now two-time MVP and Finals MVP, in Game 3, they were both Jamal Murray and Jokic were the first duo to ever have combined triple-doubles in the same game. They were the only duo ever to have triple-doubles, both separately, in the exact same game. Nikola Jokic was the first one ever to have a triple-double of 30 points, 20 rebounds, and at least 10 assists in the same game. Jamal Murray, who averaged 20 and 10 over the finals, joined just Magic Johnson, LeBron James, as Michael Jordan as the only other people ever in NBA Finals history to do it. Nikola Jokic and Murray combined for, 89 total points. Jokic averaged 30 points, 14 assists, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. Murray averaged 21 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists. That means they combined for 51.6 points, 20 rebounds, and 17.2 assists for 89 total. That number for those three stats combined of points, assists, rebounds, when you put those two as a duo together, was actually better than LeBron and Kyrie. It was just behind Kobe and Shaq. It's only 2 points behind, or 2 decimals behind Magic and Kareem, and was the only one, was 4 about ahead of that when you combine all those stats together, was Michael Jordan and Pippen. But one more time, the guys in the NBA Finals that just are coming back with their returning starting 5 are not only some people who won and had a decent run. They had an all-time historic run, setting triple-double records we've never seen before, setting duo records that we've only seen like 3 or 4 times. Jamal Murray by himself joining Magic, LeBron, and Michael Jordan. I mean, Jokic having the first 30, 20, 10, triple-double. I mean, there were so many records. There were so many great things. Denver was a great story. It's the first championship. The fact is, repeating is a different thing. And him coming out and publicly just admitting, I don't really, work in the offseason. I didn't pick up a basketball. The playoffs was kind of a pain in the ass because, I had to end up spending less time with my family and friends and do the things that I want to do. It's great for life. And this is the thing I want to say here. It's great for your life when you have a bigger picture. It really is. And I'm being serious. When you look at most of the greatest athletes of all time, most of them are extremely unhappy, and for a reason. I mean, the fact is, if you get the idea, and I'm going to get corny here with the music, but the fact is, if you understand that, look, it's just basketball. I'm still getting paid. I'm still one of the top players in the league. I'm just not going to dedicate everything and everything I am to this thing, because in the end, I got other stuff. I got family, I got friends, I got a life after this. It's not worth this just insane obsession. That is amazing for life. It's not amazing for people trying to go back-to-back or to three-peat. Give me the guys who back-to-back and three-peated the most. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. It's a short list of people that had extended runs. Tom Brady. You look at Tiger Woods in golf when he was able to just keep winning and winning and winning. Kobe Bryant. None of those people, Larry Bird, none of those people are considered very well-adjusted, normal human beings. Most of them had the same verbs and adjectives about them that described them. They were psychotic. They were obsessive. It was a weird, it wasn't just a desire, it was a need to win. It wasn't just like, hey, I would like to win a championship. As if I don't win a championship, I'm going to kill myself and everyone else around me. It is not just a little bit of I would like to win, but I still have my family, I still have my friends, I still have other things I need to balance and focus my life on. They don't think like that. The guys that do think like that are the LeBrons, who's got 4 rings. But I mean, you've heard him talk about it. There's my family, my friends, I got things outside of here. I love basketball, but, he doesn't talk the same way that the Jordans did, that the Kobes did, that the Magics did. They just had the Bradys, the guys, the Tiger Woodses, the ones that really just left a run where everyone saw them, had their bullseye on them, and they came back more prepared and more pissed off year after year, requires a mental psychosis. It requires a craziness that makes you not adjusted to anything else in life. The rest of your life's going to be hard. Wives aren't going to understand Tom Brady got divorced. Friends aren't going to understand Michael Jordan has no friends. Your legacy as far as how you reputation amongst other players. Kobe, before he passed, a lot of people said he was kind of a dick. I mean, look, they're just not the most. Larry Bird, I mean, they were not the most well-liked. They were not the, my life outside of this is absolutely wonderful. Nikola Jokic, unfortunately, seems to fall into the camp of he understands the big picture, that in the end, dude, it's just NBA. You guys will get over it if we lose. I've got, everything going on in my home country. I got my wonderful wife. I got my beautiful daughter. I really don't need to just go kill myself with this. We just won the title last year, and I don't really feel like going in the offseason hard. I don't think you have any shot this year. Sorry, Denver. I know you're repeating bringing back everybody into the roster here, at least the main 5. I know you lost Brown, but I mean, that's not the huge deal a lot of people make it out to be. But when your MVP has openly, just repeatedly, over and over stressed that he, this is a job, he likes it fine, but he's not gonna lose sleep over this. He's not going to lose sleep over this. He won a title. He got you your first title. I give you championship. I give you one. You never have one before me. Now you have one. So go Go take it and shove it up your ass because I want to. You know, he doesn't. He's got a bigger goal, a bigger thing in life. Okay. What else did I want to discuss today? Oh, quickly. The Ja Morant thing, look, I go back to I'm not going to play you a clip. I'm just going to go ahead. If you don't believe me, don't believe me. But go to any of my early podcasts because I discussed this ad nauseum. That Ja Morant was not getting it. He was not hearing the message.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
From the beginning, from the first the flash of the gun at the strip club before anything went down, I was trying to explain. Then I listened to his interviews and everything else. I was like, this kid don't get it. He doesn't understand. He doesn't realize. I've watched this happen as somebody who's, again, just a couple years out of a rehab facility. I have heard and seen the same nonsense over and over when a person, for whatever reason, whether it's addiction to, drugs, alcohol, money, fame, ego, whatever it is, I know when someone just doesn't get it, and Ja Morant didn't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I'll tell you the three things I used to say with Ja Morant as now the 25-game suspension is going to come down, and there might be at least a little rose at the end of this here, wink, wink, that could help him maybe, straighten everything out. But I told you over and over, the three things with Ja Morant that I kept hearing reminded me so much of all the nonsense I used to hear from people in rehab who went out, basically the next day and went back to their same life. They all said the same three things over and over and over, so I try to make sure that I don't say them. First thing I heard, it's not my fault. Heard that one a bunch of times. Yes, I got my 5th DUI, but I was only a block away from my house, and, the cop was being kind of a jerk. I really only blew a .08, so, I think I was only a .07, or yada-da-da-da-da-da. It wasn't my drugs. I was actually delivering them for my friend, and next thing you know, I got caught. Nah. First thing I always heard that it wasn't my fault. Second thing I always heard was that you got to understand because of XYZ. And this one gets even more exceedingly annoying. And Ja tried to use this one. His fans tried to use this one. They kept trying to tell me, you got to understand he's young. You got to understand. You got to keep it real with your friends. You got to understand, da-da-da-da-da. He's fighting for his sister in the one time. He was fighting for his mother the other time. You got to stick up for your family. Ja's a family man. You got to understand, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't. And not does anyone else on the Memphis organization or any of his teammates. He needed to understand that as the top player who just got the max contract, who has major sponsorships and everything else, he had to understand there was a bigger responsibility than trying to whoop everyone's ass that insulted your mom, or keeping it real with your friends from back in the day, or whatever other nonsensical, or that you're young and that you're just having fun. You have bigger responsibilities. With greater power comes greater responsibilities. Watch any Spider-Man. Jesus Christ, Marvel could have taken care of this for you, but they said that one a lot too. And then finally, the last one that eventually was the one that really bit him in the ass was at least he's not blank. Well, at least he's not in prison. Well, at least he's in the NBA. Well, at least he's still doing XYZ for the community. Well, at least. All of those three things combined, the not my fault, and the you got to understand, and the at least, all those three arguments were a lot of the reasons. I include his dad in bringing in those arguments. I include the fan base. I include the Memphis Grizzlies organization. I include a lot of people in that argument. Of those three things that you brought are a lot of the reason you were just as responsible as he is that he's in the 25-game suspension situation. Now, the good news, you brought in Derrick Rose. And that is, congratulations, that was a hell of an idea and looks like it might really work. On the court, I think Derrick Rose still has a little bit left in the tank. And this is what I want to get to from Media Day. I thought Derrick Rose, though, said some very telling, interesting things about Ja Morant and maybe his chance to possibly mentor him or to at least be the leader that somebody in that locker room needed to be. As Steven Adams and others tried to say during the season and had a call-out meeting, but maybe he didn't have the panache, the respect, the je ne sais quoi, whatever, to get Ja's ear. Maybe Derrick Rose is a 15-year player, former MVP, a guy who's seen a lot, a guy who's not from the suburbs by any means. Maybe he now has somebody in that organization, and maybe that's why he was brought in the first place. But I loved hearing what he said about Ja Morant, so here we go.
I told him, I'm not here to babysit you. I'm not here to follow you around. I'm not here to cheerlead or I can't say that word, but yeah, I'm not here to I'm here to push you. In the league, it's very few players or it's very few opportunities where players get a chance to play with somebody that has a similar style of play. And I'm very fortunate to be in this situation where a lot of people look at his game and they kind of compare our games together, but he's on a whole nother level. So with me saying that, it's my job to push him and let him know when in times like whenever he's being reckless to calm down.
A little bit of a Freudian slip there at the end. He also corrected before the next question. Reporter asked him a question. He did go on to say, like, "Oh, I mean reckless on the court," but still. I mean, you hear everything you need to hear from someone who may finally get Ja Morant's attention. I love the idea of Memphis bringing him in. Whether it is just to help on the court, he is going to help off the court. This was a very, very smart move by Memphis, getting rid of Dylan Brooks, the other nonsensical moron that they had for a long time out there, and bringing in a guy like Derrick Rose, consummate professional, smart dude, leader. Brilliant, brilliant move.
I like that idea, and I will support it.
Good move, Memphis Grizzlies, because, you know, on the court has never been the problem with Ja Morant. Ja Morant in the playoffs, in case you don't know, in 19 games, averaged 27.3 points, 8.6 assists, 6.8 rebounds, shot 45% from the field, and a respectable 36% from threes. Ja Morant in the playoffs is a dog, is a beast. Memphis Grizzlies, without all the distractions, were a number 2 seed, and still on paper should be right up there. I mean, they still should be considered one of the top teams in the West, at least in that Sacramento King level of like, hey, let them get hot and we got ourselves a problem, because the same way De'Aaron Fox can just go bananas and lead you to a series victory, that dude has already proven. Ja Morant has already proven that he can do it. And so having Derrick Rose behind him to maybe at least have somebody finally who has the, you know, the wherewithal, the experience, and the resume to be able to tell this dude, I don't want to hear it's not your fault. I don't want to hear why I got to understand, and I don't want to hear at least you're not in prison. I don't want to hear any of that nonsense anymore. I want you to stay on the court and do your job as the franchise player. Maybe, you know, a coach that couldn't reach him, Steven Adams that couldn't reach him, anyone else around his inner circle that couldn't reach him. Maybe Derrick Rose can do it. In the end, I think that might be the best and most important role that he plays, although Derrick can probably still play some ball. Derrick Rose is a former MVP, knees and everything else aside. So, want to throw that in there. Last called shot here, and I want to, one more time, talk about not getting it. Golden State Warriors.
I don't get it. I get it.
Draymond Green, just recently, this was NBA Media Day. They asked him, and Draymond Green does a lot of, he's good at talking when he wants to. Can't keep his mouth shut a lot of times on the basketball court, gets too many technical fouls, and I could just, anyways, Jordan Poole, whatever. He's a hothead. But when he's, himself and he knows the cameras are on and everything else, he knows how to play the game and say the right things and come across very like, wow, Draymond's really a level-headed, swell fella there. Draymond Green has been a hothead from day one who's just lack of impulse control has been a just particular thorn in my side and the Warriors side for a very long time. But Steve Kerr loves him and everyone else on his team loves him, so I've always had to ride with him. And the other thing that Steve Kerr loves about Draymond is that he continues to be able to play this stupid-ass small ball, and they are still clinging to it. I just don't get it, do you? I mean, this one, the volume, I apologize, is a little low, so I'll try to hopefully have them turn it up here a little bit. But they asked him just the other day, as you're looking at their roster with Chris Paul and everything else going on, that, hey, you guys have a lot that you've done here. You've made a lot of nice moves. But you look at, everything going on in the NBA, all the top teams being big. Do you think, I don't know, maybe for the first time in a freaking decade, you want to have a real center or at least some real size on the bench? Nope. They're good. They still, and he's trying to defend the new general manager, Dunleavy, a little bit, but he's also doing what he and Kerr have felt for the longest time, that they don't need to go big because they just, for a lot of stupid-ass reasons. So here we go, without further ado. Where's my boy Dre? I know I got it in here. Here we go. Draymond Green, one more time, asked him, do you need a big now, considering all the other teams that are threats have a damn big?
You need a big. I don't think we need anything. I think anything we need, we got right here. Would a big be beneficial for us? I don't see it hurting us. I think it definitely could add a benefit. Lakers are huge, right? Like, that's who we lost to. So if you look at someone and you're like, all right, this is who we lost to, where do we need to improve? Probably need a little more size. Doesn't mean we're necessarily going to lose again if we don't get the size, but it may help, so we'll see where it goes. But Mike's got my support 100%, and I think he's been a pleasure to work with.
Yeah. I don't want to hear this shit anymore. So really, you might need a big. It might help against the LA Lakers. It might help against a team that now has Anthony Davis, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, Vanderbilt, LeBron. I mean, Rui, they got size all over the place. They just beat us last year because they beat us inside. It might be a little bit useful to have that against the Los Angeles Lakers. Oh, what are the other threats? Phoenix, what do they have? Nurkic, what do they have? Bol, what do they have? Durant, what do they have? All sorts of 7-footers that are versatile all over the place. Yeah, it might be useful if we go against them. What's the other good team in the West? Oh, Sacramento with Sabonis, who basically, if Fox didn't go down, might have set us in the first round. Yeah, it might be useful to have at least one 7-footer that can do something against that size. Well, what teams am I missing here? The Denver Nuggets. Would it be useful? Yes. Did we beat Denver Nuggets a couple years ago? And did they have Jamal Murray playing? No. Did Nikola Jokic average 31 points and like 14 rebounds against us? Maybe. Would it be useful now as the defending champs, who now have also a healthy Aaron Gordon and a healthy Jamal Murray? Would it be useful to have some size? Possibly. Milwaukee, if they come out of the East, Boston trading for Porzingis. Gee, I don't know. It might be useful to not be the smallest roster in the NBA for the second straight. It's not. It's not an obsession. I'm obsessed with the team. This is my favorite team, but it's not an obsession. This is a stubborn mule level of just nonsense. What are you talking about? You don't make, I understand, he was just trying to be nice to Dunleavy. He just didn't want to make the new GM look bad. This is coming from the organization and coming from the coaching staff and coming from him. We can keep doing small ball. Small ball's great. Small ball's the reason we did this. Small ball's the reason they did that. Matter of fact, the quote that I don't have from there, he does credit small ball saying, well, we won in 2022. Really? Do you want to go there? Do you really want to go there? First of all, let me just explain again. They just lost last year to the LA Lakers because they got pounded inside. The USA basketball team did not medal for the first time in a very long time. Not in the Olympics, in FIBA. We couldn't medal in FIBA because we went with a roster at the very final game of 6'5" and under, and multiple times other media members finally, because it's not just in Golden State, looked at Steve Kerr and went, are you out of your rabbit-ass mind? Play a center. Play Kessler. Play anyone that's above 6'5". What are you doing? It costed them. They didn't even medal. And before they even lost all the medal games, they had just lost one game at this point. I said this, and I'll say it 1,000 times, and then I'll move on and get to some funny videos. But let me give you this last one. So before it even happened, before they lost the consecutive games to not even get a medal in FIBA because they went small, and now I got Draymond telling me they may not still need a big, even though the rest of the league has gone big. I said this months ago. This idea that you need a shorter guy to do what big guys can do was a 2 to 3, maybe 4-year thing, and it has already been just pushed out. It's an outdated thought. There are plenty of 6'10" and above guys who can do what a 6'6" guy can do offensively, whether it's shooting, passing, moving the ball, being able to switch on pick and rolls, who can also protect the rim, who can also rebound, who can also block shots to where you don't have to hit your shots all night in order to win a ball game. Team USA is just about to find this out the really hard way if they don't do something about it, as they already found out against Lithuania, and it might lead to us losing another gold medal, which is, let's all face it, is a huge embarrassing thing when we lose at basketball, and it won't simply be because of lack of talent. It's going to be because of this king over here, this, King Kerr, and his just concurring that the only way to win is to play a bunch of short people. It's going to bite us in the ass, and I told you so, and I've said it 1,000 times. I hate short people. Small ball is stupid, and he can kiss my ass. But it bit y'all in the ass now. Now it's the world's problem. Y'all get to deal with this too. He's going to do this until they lose. He does not care. He does not care.
See, I done told you.
That was before. That was before the last 2 games where they lost. I was trying, I was pleading, I was screaming. And again, when a podcaster voices fall in the woods, does anyone hear it? No. Was anyone paying attention at the time? No. Is anyone paying attention now? Probably not. But at some point, it is going to get the ripple effect, and that's going to travel down the pond one day to where I hope it'll get loud enough. Horton hears a who, where finally it bashes through the clouds, that you need to play a big in 2023. Not only do you need to play a big, again, when you look at the rest of the rosters out there in the top teams in Milwaukee, with Giannis, with Lopez, with everyone else, with Boston getting Porzingis, with Phoenix having Nurkic, with LA having all sorts of centers, including Anthony Davis, with Denver having the 2-time MVP and defending NBA Finals MVP champion in Nikola Jokic, with every other team out there that has bigs. It's not only a necessity, it's not even necessary to play small. There are 7-footers littered amongst the NBA that can do the things that you want to do. The only thing that small ball was supposed to do was allow you to switch pick and rolls and to have to where nobody could clog the lane because you're going to leave shooters. The idea was, well, if we play with traditional big, the problem with that is that they can't be able to shoot an 18 to 25 footer. So, what are we going to do when Steph Curry and these guys want to go to the lane? Gee, I don't know. Get the 97 guys out there that are now 3-and-D, 6'10" and above players. I'm so over this argument. But the fact that Draymond said it again, he said it again after they lost to LA, after Steve Kerr just blew the entire medals for FIBA and USA basketball, after all that he still has the gall to say, well, we don't really need a big. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's the dumbest, most asshat
That's dopey talk. That's dopey dum-dum talk.
Bringing up to 2002 championship. Do you really want to go there? Let me just do this real quick, then I'm going to get to fun videos. Do you really want to go there, Draymond, and anyone else defending small ball? Do you really want to do this nonsense? Let's do it. Let me read you some stuff here, and then we'll move along here. This is finally, I'm going to just end this conversation of, this I call it the Usain Bolt hiking boots argument. This is what this is to me. When Draymond, when any of you fans, when anyone else brings up, oh, well, they've won championships, they've won this way doing small ball. Let me finally just give you this metaphor one last time. This is the Usain Bolt in hiking boots argument, meaning that Usain Bolt most likely could have won still most of his gold medals running in hiking boots. It did not make it a good idea. Causation is not correlation. Just because something worked doesn't mean that it could have not worked better, or that when you get finally challenged, that it was not going to be the reason that you lost. Just because Usain Bolt would beat most people in a 100-yard dash wearing hiking boots does not mean it was better than wearing track shoes. Just because the Golden State Warriors were able to win because small ball works when you have literally goats on your squad, it is not a good idea when now your goats are a little bit older and the rest of the NBA has gotten competitive and has gotten bigger. It is not a smart idea. It is not necessary. It is not needed. The Warriors 2022 championship there, by the way, they beat Denver without Jamal Murray. And I think that's worthy of noting. They beat a young Memphis. They beat the Dallas Mavericks, who also then tried to go small. And then the Boston Celtics, who had their best player at center, Williams, down with an injury. They were still down 2-1 in that series. And, it took a Steph, going insane, along with Jason Tatum choking in that final series for that to happen. So if you really want to go there, let's review it and let's break it on down here. Denver, again, was without Jamal Murray. The first round, when you beat Denver in the 2022 run, they did not have their second best player, who just last year averaged 26 points, 7 assists, and 5.7 rebounds. Jokic, by the way, in that series averaged 31, 6, and 13, and has only gotten better since then. Then you went on to a Memphis team who was young, was immature, got into the chirping, got into a lot of other nonsense, and it still took you 6 to get past them. Then you went into Dallas, and yes, you were actually got a little lucky because Chris Paul got hurt in the series before that where Dallas played Phoenix, and I think you would have had a much worse time with the Phoenix Suns, but Chris Paul getting injured, not being able to make it, it still took Dallas 7 games. You got very lucky that Dallas ended up showing up in the Western Conference Finals. Then you got even more lucky that Boston showed up and then decided to throw the series away, Jason Tatum, by just disappearing on them. But that still was a Milwaukee series before that, if you remember correctly, that took them 7 games in order to get that done. So, there was a very strong and maybe more likely possibility that if you reran ran that whole season again, that at the end, even if you got there, at the end you would have faced a very big Phoenix team, then you would have probably gone against a very big Milwaukee. Not lucked into the Dallas Mavericks, who were the only other team that had any success with small ball, and you eventually ended up beating the crap out of. And then moving on to a Boston Celtics, who not only had Jason Tatum play piss poor, but had their only real statistically strong big, Robert Williams, go down with injury. There were so many things that had to happen for that little championship to run. It is the Usain Bolt hiking boot argument. Yes, Usain won the race with hiking boots. It did not mean that from going forward for the rest of his life that Usain Bolt should run in hiking boots. Yes, you were able to win in 2022 when Murray got hurt in your first round series, when you got a young Memphis team, when you got to go against Dallas when it really shouldn't have been them, it probably should have been Phoenix, and then you got to go against Boston, whose center also got hurt and Tatum played piss poor. Yes, you were able to go into a 2022 championship run thanks to Steph Curry going absolutely bananas. Oh, and by the way, you were down 2-1 in that final series. So this idea that it was just this just amazing, wonderful, it just worked perfectly. Oh, by the way, you still lost in rebounds. You still lost in offensive rebounds. You still lost in blocks in that series. You still lost in points in the paint. We don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it. Okay. NBA Media Day. There we go. So once again, like I said, I really worry about Denver because Nikola Jokic loves life, and that's awesome. He doesn't seem to love the offseason, doesn't seem to love working out. Ja Morant did not get it from day one. Maybe the excuses are gone, and maybe the rose is a bloom in your mentor situation, as Derrick Rose may have the resume and the things necessary in order to guide him finally down the straight and narrow. Maybe Memphis makes a hell of a run this year. The Warriors are still too damn small-minded, still obsessed with small ball, even though it's continued to bite them and their head coach in the ass, not just in Golden State, but for USA Basketball, and maybe they'll never learn. And then finally, the LeBron-Bronny situation. Bronny just had surgery on that cardiac arrest. I do not believe he's going to just pop back to USC and be absolutely fine, and he's going to be able to come and be a one-and-done next year and join LeBron. The fact is, it's most likely a situation where it's going to lead to either LeBron retiring or some sort of huge ramifications that are not just in the college level, but in the NBA level. All right? Good. Fired up today. We had some fun. Let's do videos.
You seen it? You seen it? Don't look at me. Don't look at me, little puppet.
Have you seen this? Have you read about this?
NBA gets me pissed off. All right, this is part of the show that always helps me after I've gotten a little too cranky pants. This is the bonus section. I get to Husa Serenity now. Go to Tricky Guy Sports on YouTube. Check these out with us. These are videos that you can either laugh at, you can cringe at, you can do something in between at. And I got one at the end, one of my favorite videos on the planet that I'm going to bring you. Maybe my favorite thing ever. All right, so where should I start? Let's do some easy ones first here. How about weights, treadmill, idiot? Fair enough. That's really all you need to know. Weights, treadmill, idiot. You ready? Here we go. I'm going to put the weights on the Look, they're spinning. I'm going to stand right there still. Owie! Owie! Dipstick. That's a 45-pound plate. If anyone's ever even, smacked their shin into a corner of anything sharp that had any density to it, that nonsense hurts. To have a 45-pound and what I think it was like a 10 come back and fling and hit you in the leg had to hurt like hell, but this ding-dong just wanted, look, put the camera, I'm going to put, it's a wheel. Wheels keep on turning. Now my shin keeps on burning. Rolling, dipstick in his wheelchair. Whatever, dude. That's fun. Let me see what's another easy one to start things off with. Oh, here's an absolute psycho. Okay, I warned you guys before. I played a clip where these two kids were playing a football drill, and the head coaches, after they both ran headfirst into each other, just didn't even seem to care. You got to be careful with coaches. Some of these guys, are a little too into it. I understand if you're like in Major League Baseball, but if it's high school or something, relax. This coach does not relax. I have no idea what this is supposed to be or why. This is psychotic. I'll just say that. This is a head coach, for some reason, having his kids run sprints in the outfield. I don't know if it's an event or something, hitting baseballs at them to see if he can, hurt them. This is what it is. Run! Run, Forrest!
Here they come to second base. Oh, man, down.
He is trying hard to hit them. Ow, he hit that guy. Did you see that? He knocked his ass down. One more time. Look at this poor kid. It's a hell of a shot. Doink. What the hell are y'all doing?
You gotta touch second.
Got to
You gotta touch second.
I mean, at second base, he is smacking line. This could kill a kid. You know, people get hit with the head in the baseball and die, right? I don't see a helmet on any of these kids. Are you out of your flipping mind? Are you out of your absolute rabbit-ass mind? Again, one more time with the one kid. Look at this kid get pegged. I have seen people take shots. Fans in the stands have taken shots to the head and died. This is funny. Hey, I got me one. Do you notice something else, too?
It's all right, because it's all white.
A lot of that. Just saying. Just saying. What else do I have that's absolutely psychotic? Oh, these are fun. These are sweet. This is kids getting beat up, and I've, since we already showed one, that one wasn't funny. These were kind of funny. Let's start off with ref getting revenge, refereeing a football game. And look, no one catches it worse than referees. And I mean, high school sports would, I think, be a highlight of that, that conversation. Referees really catch a hard time from the players, from the coaches, from the parents. They get like no money. It's a thankless job. A lot of them just want to start just ripping off helmets and throwing flags. This ref did exactly just that and did both of them in grand fashion, I will say. Some high school game somewhere. Take your helmet. And that's a penalty. Not only did he get, I'm sure every ref watches this probably and rubs their nipples at home. What a highlight for you guys, because after all the crap you deal with and after all the nonsense that you go through, how fun would it be to do what this guy did? Probably got his ass fired, but it was entertaining at the time. Rips his helmet off first. I don't know why. I don't know what caused him to get into this wrestling match, but he rips the helmet off. The guy, asks him, why did you do that? I'll tell you why. Because you're a bitch. 15 yards for being a whiny little bitch. Throw the flag. He ripped his head. All right. It's one way of doing it. I got to see that one more time. It's probably his last day as a referee. I got to enjoy this. What a nut. And you're fired.
How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off? I don't know.
Might have ripped a helmet off and somehow gave the kid
How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off? I don't know.
Moving on. This one is some sweet daughter-dad thing. And look, I don't want to get into the whole size, women, men, everything else. The kid's okay. All right? The kid's all right. May want to learn that dad, might be taking it easy on you there, kiddo. I think a lot of dads, they all struggle with, when is it time to finally show my child what I'm fully capable of versus letting them, think they can compete and beat me and do this and that. Still a little bit of time with this one. It may not want to go full out dad. But the daughter was asking for it, if that counts. Here we go.
What?
Little sissy, huh?
You sure?
Hold on. Before I actually play it, the look on Dad's face, watch when she calls him sissy. You can tell dude, he's a fighter. They're not used to, even by their kids, like sissy, word, what? Word.
Sure. Yes. You ready? Yes. All right, here we go. You okay?
Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. I mean, she's fine. It was a mat. I don't call CPS on this poor guy or anything. It's been all over Instagram. But I'll play it one last because again, focus on his face. He's trying to be sweet dad. Oh, I'm doing judo with the daughter. Then she called him sissy. And you saw that switch hit of like, oh, word? Oh, word, dad's a sissy, huh? Your mom calls me a sissy sometimes too.
Sure. Ready? Yes. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
You okay?
She's fine. They're laughing. They're having a good time. She's fine. Sure, she's fine. What else did I want to show today? I really want to get to the bird here in a second. I'm going to save Travis Taylor. I don't want to do it. I'm so over. Is anyone else over it? Is anyone else over Travis and Taylor already? I know I am. Does anyone really care anymore?
I don't care.
I'll wait till they break up.
I don't care.
I want the breakup song.
I don't care.
I want the breakup song.
He does not care.
Most of us don't care.
I don't care.
Quick. I'll do it quick. Travis Taylor, you know what's going on. This was funny. There was someone who pointed out possibly the NFL being scripted.
Watch out, Swifties. Monday Night Football made a prediction that Kelsey, Hurts, Swift.
That's pretty cute. Finding the it is interesting. All three names right there in a row for you there.
Watch out, Swifties. Monday Night Football made a prediction that Kelsey, Hurts, Swift.
So, yeah, there's that. What is more interesting to me, this is actually worthy of note because the argument has been back and forth. Who is getting the clout? Who is doing this for the clout? Who is getting more fame from this, and why are they doing it? What's their motivation? And a lot of people have said that Travis Kelce is doing this because he's just trying to get more fame and trying to get more off-the-field stuff and move his brand outside of the NFL. There's a lot of argument to be made that if that's the point, he's doing a hell of a job. And this was found. And so this is kind of, in case you're a Swiftie or in case you have any inkling to give a shit about this, this is actually quite interesting. This is from years ago. And so if your argument is that Taylor Swift is being used by Travis simply for fame, he's really never been that obsessed with her, and this is all, once again, some poor guy manipulating poor Taylor who's eventually going to write 97 songs about it, but it's wrong what he's doing to her. They found a video from back in the day where she was brought up in F, Marry, Kill. Most of y'all should know what F, Marry, Kill is, which is where you have to pick one to marry, one to kill, one to have sex with, and then, so they give you 3 celebrities. They gave Travis Taylor as an option. And if your argument is that he doesn't really care about her and she's never really been that important to him, this is quite the evidence to prove that.
Okay, I want to play a little game with you if that's cool, to find out kind of like what your type of girl is.
Fun.
I'm sure you've heard of this before. It's called Kill, Marry, Kiss.
Okay.
Okay, so ready?
I'm listening.
Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Katy Perry.
Damn, that's messed up. I don't want to kill any of them.
Well, it's just the game.
Just a game.
It's gonna be harder to find real love. So
This
you
is
gotta
true,
play
yeah.
this game right.
What is it? Kill?
Kill, Marry, Kiss.
Ariana is
Okay,
kill.
okay.
Unfortunately, love you, but you're gone.
Okay.
And then Taylor Swift would be the kiss, and then Katy Perry. What's the last one?
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry would
Marry.
be the Katy
Marry,
Perry would be the
He's
marry.
like, yes.
By the way, just in general, that's a much better look than the Reno 911 mustache and shaven look you got going there, Travis. But to the Taylor fan that cares, to anyone that still is into this, that's interesting, because if the argument's being made that, dude, he's only been chasing Taylor and this whole dating thing to make himself more famous, and that it's unfair to Taylor, and poor Taylor, she always catches the wrong guy, there is, some point there of like, at that point, I'll bet Katie was probably at this time of this interview maybe a little bigger, but he was given the option, at least at some point in his life, and yes, taste can change, of would you marry Taylor? Is Taylor your favorite? He's like, yeah, she's all right. She's second. Now suddenly he just had to go to her concert and please wear my bracelet. And oh my God, Taylor, come to my games and let's, be on national TV. Oh, does it give me all sorts of more fame and more eyeballs and more things? Can I maybe get another reality TV show out of this? It's a fair point. And it's good evidence. He's clearly not been this obsessed with Taylor for at least whatever time that was. I know. I don't really care either. But that was the most interesting evidence I've seen in a while. I got to do this. I'm going to end the show on this. This is my favorite video, and I haven't found it in years. I've been talking about it for years, and finally, I was able to get it and see it, and I'm going to share it with you. And you know what? Birds, Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals, Eagles, birds are mascots, therefore birds are sports, therefore I get to bring you this video, one of my favorite videos of all time, Angry Birds, a.k.a. Pebbles. Yes. This is one of the funniest damn things I've ever seen. I laughed my rabbit ass off when I saw this. Let's see how you guys feel. So to give you the backstory, Pebbles is a bird, I think a cockatoo of some type, who, I looked this up, actually from, last 20 years or so, he's about 20 years old now, was sent to 10 different homes and really had a rough life. He really did. Poor Pebbles, for a while, had it kind of bad. Pebbles was shipped from home to home, was put in this little round cage, which isn't good for these birds, and was mistreated for the first 20 years of his life. Then finally, he got a bird sanctuary guy who owns like 30 birds to let him go free and to give him a new life. And to show Pebbles the angry bird how great his life is going to be, he took the cage, the once cage that held Pebbles for 20 years and 10 homes of mistreatment and abuse, and apparently seen, I don't even know what. He smashed the cage in front of Pebbles to show him, you are free now. And Pebbles had all sorts of stuff to say about it. Check this out. Cage is gone, right? It's good. It's a good thing.
I think we got it. I think we got it. We got it. That's the best thing that's ever happened. You don't like those cages either, eh? That's what it needs. Another one. These cages shouldn't even be in production, right? We've made this cage. We've made this cage good now. Exactly. We can throw it exactly where it belongs, right, Pebble? Right in the garbage.
Pebbles is free, man. After 20 years of being mistreated, Pebbles was finally free. And boy, if you don't think that other animals have emotion, that they don't have feelings, that he didn't get to see that cage that held him for years be smashed in front of him, and obviously heard a lot of stuff from the people that mistreated him, and was able to just channel that Shawshank Redemption-like energy. That fucking cage is so if that's not the funniest thing in the world, I don't know what is. As a matter of fact, the inspirational music's cute. It's better with angry music. I got it. There's one more time. The Pebbles and getting rid of that cage, this demon spawn bird now of just anger and rage is one of the greatest things ever. If this is the funniest thing ever, I don't know what is. Again, this guy's now freedom. He's good.
I think we got it. We got it. We got it.
Look at him just like feathers out.
That's the best thing that's ever happened.
This bird saw some stuff, man.
You don't like those cages either, eh? That's what it needs. Another one.
Who took care of this bird before that?
We made this cage. good now. Exactly. We can throw it exactly where it belongs, right, Pebble? Right in the garbage.
I don't know who took care of that bird or didn't, or what issues they went through, but Pebbles is free now. It's a beautiful thing. I'm glad I was able to share it with you. Now you're free. I got to go. Bye.